Yes Have Some podcast is brought to you by Carnivorous Creations, your one-stop shop for all of your Proton Pack building needs. If you're in the market for a Proton Pack, head to carnivorouscreations.com. That's carnivorous with a K. You're going to find aluminum motherboards, resin parts, fiberglass shells, and a whole lot more. Find them on Facebook at Carnivorous Creations or head straight to carnivorouscreations.com. Remember, carnivorous with a K, and get started on an authentic, screen-accurate Proton Pack.
Everything's under control. Situation normal.
I don't want to grow up. Mom, do you want some?
Jurassic Park. Now playing at PSW.
Ecto goggles with Ecto Bumper, neutron blaster, and water zapper, each sold separately.
From the corner penthouse of Spook Central all the way to Star Killer Base, this is Yes Have Some podcast.
You like? Yes, have some. Yes, have some.
You know, they told me you people were conceited douchebags.
The only place in the multiverse where you can love the book, hate the movie, but still buy all the toys.
I'm afraid you're just too darn loud.
I'm not looking for a friend. I'm looking for a Jedi Master.
What?
Please remember to hold on to your butts and get ready to get stressed. With your hosts, Craig Goldberg, Abigail Gardner, and Jacob Walsh.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Yes Have Some podcast. My name is Craig Goldberg, and I am here with my co-hosts, as always, 2 years and running strong. Abigail,
wonderful and beautiful.
Is that a self-assessment?
What?
Isn't that what you always say?
I used to say my wonderful,
Pineapple?
beautiful. So I used to always say my wonderful, beautiful co-hosts, and then one day Abby was like, "Hey, you sound stupid when you say that."
So come up with some new adjectives.
Do you guys remember? Hi, Jake. How are you?
Hi, Jake.
I'm good, man. How are you guys?
Good. I was just speaking of adjectives. There's this old clip of when Kevin Nash debuted on WCW in 1996.
Oh, I got a Kevin Nash story. Go for it.
I have a cat named Kevin Nash.
Kevin Nash was like, he gets in Eric Bischoff's face. He goes, WCW, where the big boys play. Look at the adjective, play. We don't play.
Oh my God.
And the entire wrestling world was okay with it.
They were like, they didn't know it was a verb.
But the rest of the world that wasn't wrestling fans was like, play's not
Kevin?
an adjective.
Hey, Kev.
And the funny thing is, like, Kevin Nash is a pretty smart guy by all accounts, and he screwed up. But
Sometimes it's hard to remember what your adjectives are and your pronouns. And
I'm a fan of adverbs.
Yeah.
You can add ly.
Slowly, quickly.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's talk about
solemnly.
Yes, solemnly.
Like, I solemnly swear.
Write down your answers and send them in, and whoever gets the most correct answers
Quickly.
gets a A, I guess. I don't know.
Gets an A. Jake, what's your Kevin Nash story?
There's this guy got tattooed in the shop today, and this is the second time I've seen him in here. He was in the shop like last week or the week before, and up his arm he has tattooed in very big letters, "Big Sexy."
Oh.
Okay.
And I was like, "Is this Kevin Nash?" Like, didn't that like Kevin Nash went by Big Sexy for a long time?
Yes, that's his most.
So I was like,
name.
I was like, "What the fuck is happening?" This guy has this tattoo. It's just funny.
What if? I guess there's probably worse wrestling names. Like,
is there?
But like, of all the things
I
relating
think-
to Kevin Nash,
Here.
to get the words "big sexy" and not like an image or something else.
So I think that his other original name, Big Daddy Cool Diesel, is worse
That
than
would
Big
have been
Sexy.
A better tattoo.
We were talking about Kevin Nash. Oh, I was.
Well, what I'm saying about that tattoo is in the outside non-wrestling world, it's just you just have like a. You're just
It's like, oh yeah,
so you
if you're a
think
pro wrestler, like, look at that, Big Sexy. If you're anybody else, it's like, who the fuck is this douchebag think he is? Big Sexy.
Exactly. Yeah.
I like Kevin. We met Kevin Nash. We met Kevin Nash and Scott Hall at a convention, and
we talked
you know
about
what?
Ghostbusters.
Those guys are tall.
Yeah.
Those are big
They're
dudes.
big guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jake, you were mentioning yesterday that Ric Flair is doing a what's he doing? Like a special appearance?
It's kind of like
Q&A?
it didn't say Q&A. It said he's doing a talk. Like just to talk about, I guess, his life.
Okay.
What the hard times and the good time. I don't know. He's doing a talk, and it's in Tifton, Georgia, which is like 30 miles up the road. And
middle of nowhere, kind of, right?
Yeah,
it kind of is,
yeah.
But he's there's going to be like a VIP package where you can like get in an hour early, do a meet and greet, and all that kind of stuff. Which whatever. But I might go to the talk.
Yeah. I mean, so I saw Ric Flair's going to be at Dragon Con.
Yeah, it's part of my stress.
And he's doing a panel with they're doing a wrestling panel, I think Friday morning at like 10 a.m. It's Ric Flair, Sting, and Lita. I'm going to that. I'm just putting it out there. Also,
I'm checking for schedule
gonna,
conflicts.
So the Dragon Con Wrestling is on Thursday night this year, and they're all going to be appearing there too. And guys, I'm ready for Dragon Con. But Jake, that Tifton thing have I ever told you guys about my
Yeah, I was going to ask you to either way.
I made up these characters called the Tifton Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
And they're the exact... Okay. They still have Splinter. It's regular Splinter. And the Ninja Turtles are basically the same, except for they're not wisecracking like teenage ninjas.
They're a byproduct of Tifton, Georgia.
Yeah, they just live in Tifton and they're really dumb.
Well, that could be offensive to the people who live in Tifton.
No, it's fine.
Sorry.
The people of Tifton are fine. But for the sake of this argument, let me tell you what the Teenage Mutant Tifton, what do they call it? The Tifton Mutant Ninja Turtles? They're like, and listen, Tifton, I'm talking about small town, rural, methy kind of Ninja Turtles here.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Tifton just happened to work.
Could be anywhere.
Sorry, Tifton.
But it's kind of like, my sons, grave danger awaits you. The world is not ready for your gift. And they're like, well, Master Splinter, I ate a whole thing of Elmer's glue. Is that bad?
Yeah.
And he's like, my sons, please don't eat glue. And the other one's like, I'm going to go hang out at the Sports Authority. Because I'm just imagining that Tifton still has a Sports Authority. And
it's very puzzling to me why this idea never took off.
Yeah. And maybe they're like, yo, Master Splinter, I'm going to jump off a trampoline and I'm going to break my arm.
Well,
this is painful.
I'm taken aback.
Am I bombing?
This is bad, yeah.
My sons.
I think it's for like after hours.
Hey,
you have to go all the way if you're going to go with
listen, maybe if my partners would riff with me, we'd have something good going on here.
No, because I think it's more fun probably to the listeners and definitely to me to just listen to you sound like an idiot.
Okay, here, last one. Raphael. Yes, Master Splinter? You have to get a job. I got nothing. I'm tired.
Yeah, so guys, if you like this, you can pay for more episodes.
You can pay for some more content just like this. So sign up on Patreon.
The bonus episodes get the good storylines.
The good.
Hey, let's do a bonus episode where all three of us have to do an impression for the entire. We just have to do.
I love it.
I like that.
I think it's great.
We'll work on that. Speaking of Patreon, thank you to all of our patrons. We had our bonus episode released, Fixing Ghostbusters, that dropped last week. We're going to have a couple more bonus episodes as we lead up to Dragon Con. I'm probably going to record some episodes at Dragon Con.
Yeah.
I am so pumped for that.
And we recorded our very first commentary for the YHS VHS Club. Those packages are going out this week. So if you're part of the YHS VH Club,
now we're not saying what that is, right?
It's a surprise.
We're gonna keep that until those show up, and then we'll talk about it.
We won't tell you what's in the forecast.
Yeah. But Abby, without revealing much, did you like? That's the first time we've ever done a commentary. I had fun.
I had a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
I just kept watching the movie. And
yeah,
I was like,
there were moments where I was overwhelmed with how good the movie was, and I forgot to keep talking. But no, it was a lot of fun. It was something I've always wanted to do. So I'm glad we got to sit down together and do it.
Yeah. So if you're in the YHS VHS Club tier or higher, you will be receiving a package in the mail in the next 5 to 7 days or so, and then we'll drop that audio track, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll have more of those coming. That was a really fun. I'm glad it all went off with basically without a hitch. I mean, technical difficulties a little bit trying to get it all hooked up, but we worked it out. We got to all record together. That's not something we always
on the same couch.
It was fun.
The same pod couch. Yeah. I'm very bummed right now.
Tell me.
Why?
Well, I'm bummed because Bum's probably not the right word. So we got Dragon Con coming up next week. But this weekend...
I think the word you're looking for is stressed.
I'm very stressed. Thank you. This weekend in Chicago, they're doing Wizard World. And a couple months ago during Ghostbusters Day, they had announced that Wizard was partnering up with Sony and there was going to be more Ghostbusters-related things happening at the different Wizard World cons. And they announced this week that not only is Ernie Hudson going to be there, not only is Violet Ramus-Steele, friend of the podcast, going to be there, Maurice LaMarche, Eric Burnham, Dan Schoening.
Shit.
Oh, boy.
And wait a minute, another guest.
So many friends of the podcast.
All the friends of the podcast.
All of the podcast friends.
Ivan Reitman. Ivan Reitman's going to be at Wizard World
Papa
Chicago.
Ivan.
Okay.
Papa Ivan.
Okay.
The man himself who directed GB1 and GB2 and Stripes and Analyze This and that. He didn't direct those. That was Harold Ramis. But I just thought I'd throw it in there.
Good job.
Different guy.
Thank you. Draft Day. No, Ivan Reitman, he's going to be making an appearance Saturday at Wizard World and talk to some people today who are going to be attending, the folks at the Windy City Ghostbusters. And they're going to be helping us out with some reporting back with some pictures and video. And because he's doing a panel, so it's really cool. Ivan Reitman is doing free autographs and free pictures at the table. He's doing a dual photo op with Ernie Hudson, which is very cool. Because there's not a whole lot of chances in your life to get a picture with Ernie Hudson and Ivan Reitman.
Absolutely not. That is like, yes, those are two paths that don't cross.
Yeah, it's just
typically,
like what circumstance other than a convention would allow that to happen? Unless they were out to lunch and you just bothered them, which would be rude. And then there's going to be a panel. So Ivan and Ernie are going to do a Q&A. And people are going to be asking about future movies and things like that. And so hopefully we'll have some news to report back.
Yep.
I'm excited, though. I mean, this is really good news looking to the future. I mean, we got GB Fan Fest next year. I mean, this guest list alone would be really great just because, I mean, Ernie Hudson does a lot of cons and Maurice LaMarche obviously was the voice of Egon in Real Ghostbusters, but to get them all in one place, I think that's very cool.
Yeah. We've talked about it before earlier in our early days of the podcast, wanting to organize something where we could get everyone together. So it's really neat that it's already happening and that we'll be there.
I'm just mad that we didn't organize it. I'm mad that it's not Yes Have Some presents Wizard World Chicago.
Dude, getting a commentary done for a VHS tape
Craig,
and
if you build it,
they will come.
If you build it, they will come.
Splinter, I'll go there. So anyways, so cool. We got Wizard World coming up in Chicago and we'll keep track of everything going on there and we'll post any pictures and videos that come in. I'm very excited about that. And if you're wondering where those pictures and videos are going to be, we got social media, folks.
Oh, yeah.
You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at YHS Podcast. Obviously, the website is yeshavesomecast.com. I don't know why I always say obviously. That's very... I'm insulting everybody, like, obviously.
You know
where to find the website. Facebook.com/YesHaveSomeCast. And, of course, Abby, we've got Facebook, Yes Have Some Group Therapy. How do they find that?
Well, you log into Facebook.
Okay. Hold on. Yeah. So you're assuming that nobody's logged in already.
Well, if you're getting on, like, a desktop, like, that's not yours, you want to log into your Facebook.
Okay, so let me explore this.
If you're at the library.
Bear with me. Mm-hmm. Somebody wants to get in Yes Have Some Group Therapy.
Yeah.
And they go to somebody else's computer. Mm-hmm. And they log into their Facebook.
You're going to want to sign out of their account first. Okay. And then sign in with yours.
Gotcha.
And then sign back in with theirs and also join group therapy because we want more members.
Build the membership.
But no, you search on Facebook for Yes Have Some Podcast. And when you go to our page, you'll see group therapy pop up as you scroll down. Then you'll click on it and it will take you to Yes Have Some Group Therapy. You will ask to become a member. I will probably accept you because we accept everyone. So that's how you do it.
Jake, you can't see this, but while Abby's saying these instructions, she's looking at me.
I'm like, is this how you get
kind of like she thinks that she's saying the wrong, like it's all made up. Like group therapy is not a thing. There's no way to get in. We've made it all up. No, yeah. If you want to get in part of the discussion group, Yes Have Some Group Therapy is where you need to be. I've had a lot of new members lately, a lot of good discussions. People talking about toys, movies, Godzilla, DC movies. There seems to be For as
Are we
much,
still talking about DC movies over there?
we're not talking about it.
Yeah, I like it.
Gotcha.
That you can
Anyways.
talk about whatever you want in group therapy. I think that's the point.
It's a safe space.
Not
for stress.
not whatever you want, but like
No,
whatever film
no.
franchise that.
Hey, don't defend James Gunn. Whoa!
Ooh,
God,
Ooh.
that
are we
God forbid
gonna
you
talk
should
about that?
No, just
No.
People need to chill the
Yeah,
fuck
they
out.
do.
People need to chill out.
Cool.
Lastly, on our housekeeping notes here, the YHS member club cards. We sent out a ton of them. People have been posting and tagging us. We've been sharing those posts. So we're not out yet, but we're pretty damn close. And once they're gone, they're gone. They're going into a vault.
They're gone.
But we're not going to open the vault. This isn't going to be like when Disney's like, this is your last chance to order to own Beauty of the Beast. That's a different movie. Beauty and the Beast. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is if you want the YHS member club, go to our social media, find the links, sign up. You get a free card in the mail. Post it, love it, share it. And I don't know, maybe there's a little Easter egg phone number on there. You could call that and see what happens.
Who knows?
Oh, yeah?
Okay. I mean, maybe. It's not a guarantee.
Yeah,
Right. It's
but
possible.
you could try it.
Abby, have you called the number?
I have called the number,
Yes.
and I like calling
Did
the
you
number.
answer the call?
I answered the call, but you should call each month because it might be different. So that's
This is like the worst.
It's because I want to do the voicemail.
Okay.
Can we? Okay.
You're gonna do it.
I want to do it.
Everybody gets a try.
Everyone get okay.
Before we move on to the main event of the evening, which is us continuing to talk, does anybody have any specific snacks or drinks that they're working with tonight? Because I feel like it's been a while since we've gone over our snacks of choice.
Or noshes.
Yeah. Jake, you got anything over there?
I got nothing over here. I had a water that I've already finished, a sparkling water.
Okay. That sounds good.
Wishing I had a second one, but yeah, I'm good.
Sorry, Jake.
Jake's like, wish Craig would shut the fuck up. So
Craig
we
would
get on
shut the
with
fuck
this
up so I can get a goddamn water.
No, I have this problem where I can't take it slow. I just drank the whole thing before we even really got into it. So
Yeah.
it's my fault.
It's your fault.
You go hard.
A lot of things are Jake's fault.
Yeah.
It's like, well, when you're an only child, you don't have a brother to blame.
Yeah, I get it.
You're right.
It's all Jake's fault.
My buddy Peter told me a funny story at work, and I don't know if I should share people's stories, but he told me this story about we were telling stories about dumb things we've done in our life, and he told me that when he was like 18 or 19, his stepdad was like, "Hey, where's all the bread?" And Peter had eaten all the bread, but he said the cat got into it, and he had to throw it away because he didn't want to get in trouble for eating the bread. And so his stepdad was like, "Oh, the cat got into it. You threw it away. Show me.
Oh,
Show me the bread."
You can't do that.
He was fucked. He was so fucked. So
Dude, now I want some bread.
I want a cat. All right, guys. So it's been a while since we've done this, but we've got a lot going on. We thought we'd bring it back. We're going to go old school because if you're not stressed, then you're not blessed. And other things.
Yeah.
I'm stressed.
I'm too stressed to be blessed.
But without going into your stress, Abby, what is...
To summarize it in like 2 words, Dragon Con.
Okay.
So, which used to be 1 word, but now it's 2.
They separated it.
Because they separated it.
Cool.
So, yeah, it's all Dragon Con stress.
It's all Dragon Con. Cool. Well, we got a lot to go over. It is time for the Yes Have Some Stress.
You look a little stressed.
Is this some radical new therapy?
Why don't you do something with your life? You want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
Motherfucker.
Do we still have that song on there?
Oh, we got it. It's
Stress
there.
Test?
They're hearing it now.
Actually, we're just going to do the song that you and I just did, Jake, instead.
Stress.
Stress.
Cool.
Why don't you do something? It makes me want to watch Seinfeld every time.
I want to watch Seinfeld more than
And eat a whole loaf of that marble rye from Seinfeld.
That's a great episode.
Just
Blame
like
it on the
Peter.
cat. Blame it on the cat.
That's a George Costanza move is what that is.
Yep. Show me, George.
Show me.
When George eats the eclair from the top of the trash,
Oh
I feel
my
so
God, yeah.
bad because
Yeah,
it's
but
like,
Leclerc is like the only thing that I would do that for, so I kind of understand it.
I feel like I've
It
eaten
was
out of
on
the
the top.
Yeah.
It's the inside's protected anyway. You could just get to that and not
Remember
feel
the end
bad.
of that episode when he walks out of the bathroom with no shirt on? It's so good.
Good show.
Cool. So it's time to go over our stress. This is a little exercise that we go through here where we talk about the things in pop culture, movies, and basically our personal lives that are really getting us close to the edge. We're not going to jump off, but we're going to come close. Abby.
Yes.
Do you want to start us off this week?
Sure, why not? I've got a lot of stress. There's like obvious stresses that relate to Dragon Con, like costumes, which I've not actually finished any of my costumes completely, and I'm doing like
stressful.
4 of them. Yeah, and I just added one recently over the last week. So yeah, that's a little bit stressful, but it's actually a lot of fun in a lot of ways because I haven't done like a really involved costume. I didn't really do one last year, and this year I'm doing a costume from Glow, which is a show I've talked about on here before. I'm doing Zoya the Destroyer, and my mom helped me sew my costume, and it looks really good, but I have to like finish the
Hold
belt.
on, I want to say I was talking about this today.
Yeah.
So when Abby went down to her mom's to like work on the costume, she was basically documenting the whole thing on Instagram stories.
Yeah.
And like the first couple stories were like, here's me and mom, here's me cutting something, here's me doing the work. And then it was like, I'm taking a bath. I'm eating lunch.
I'm eating a pizza.
I'm eating a pizza. I'm eating salad. And then,
taking another bath.
every one of them, like her mom's in the background still working.
Like slaving away. That's how it was when I
Abby's
was
like,
little
this is
too.
how I make a costume.
Abby's eating cookies. Mom's doing all the work. Yeah, it was great actually. Yeah.
I feel like when we did Wookiees and Cookies, the whole thing would have turned
Would
out
have been
better.
better if we had all taken baths when my mom cooked and made the cookies for us.
I mean, I'll take a bath.
Yes.
We are fans of. Hey, new shirt. Yes, have some podcast. Fans of baths.
Big old bath fans.
Jake, you like baths?
God, I love Jake.
Who doesn't?
Bath bombs.
I feel like some people
doesn't?
don't like.
That
baths.
was the sweetest part. Is that
Yeah.
I showed my mom the bath bombs that I liked. She bought them for me when I came down. I was
That's
like,
so
oh my
sweet.
God. Yes. Okay. So yeah, costumes. I'm doing that Zoya costume I talked about before. I also am doing Padme from Attack of the Clones, which is stressful because that movie's really bad, and I'm gonna have to like watch it and like.
What do you mean
I just
bad?
feel
I
like people
thought-
are gonna confront me about it.
No one's gonna confront.
No one's
you.
gonna confront.
We've talked about it, especially after Star Wars Celebration last year. The prequels have kind of had like a little
Renaissance.
Like
Yeah.
people are appreciating them more. But I know we're probably gonna talk about more Dragon Con stuff. But there is a Last Jedi.
Dude,
discussion.
that's what I wrote down because that was like basically the other thing I'm stressed about is scheduling conflicts and like going through the Dragon Con app, which finally updated. So to everyone who's been asking in all the Dragon Con forums on Facebook when it's going to update, it's updated, but it's not any less stressful because there's so many things that are happening at the same time that, yeah, the Last Jedi panel is at 11 a.m. on Friday, which I think you just mentioned something's happening at 10 a.m. with like the wrestlers on Friday. It's like, it's going to be a lot to get to and from things. And this year in particular, I want to make a point to go to more panels. And we're doing a panel. So that means that during the panel that we're doing, which is a Jurassic Park panel at 7 p.m. Saturday, there's also a Tolkien Fan Wars panel and a Beetlejuice 30th anniversary panel happening. And it's like, I can't go to those because I'm doing a panel. So it's like, it's stressful.
What's
but
the Tolkien Fan Wars?
I think it's a lot of filking. And I just kind of want to get
Count me in.
I've just been into like the whole like
Count me
Middle
in.
Earth.
I like how every year we're like, let's go to all these panels, and then every year we're like, well, we don't. Let's knock it.
Let y'all want to walk around.
Well, hey, listen. Yeah. The idea of people sitting around writing acoustic folk hymns about Lord of the Rings, it sounds appealing, and then you get in there and you realize I'm not comfortable
to go
because I like making up songs.
Yeah.
Although I always fall asleep at the beginning of the Lord of the Rings, so like. If I wrote Lord of the Rings songs, it would just be about the Shire. Like every song would be like, and Gandalf had fireworks, and that is all I know. Okay.
Yeah, that's fun. But yeah, so I mean, there's that. There's also the stress that revolves around photo ops, which there's a couple guests that I actually want to have photo ops with, specifically Evangeline Lilly, who I've mentioned. And I'm kind of bummed because I wanted to do the blue Dharma Initiative like uniform, the mechanics uniform that she wears. and I wanted to get a photo op with her, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get that costume together because I decided to do a Brody costume from Jaws. So I'm kind of like, I don't have a Lost t-shirt.
Don't dress up as a cop. That is a surefire way to have Evangeline Lilly run away from you.
Dude, I'm going to be like the guy that, whatever because I just rewatched the pilot episode of Lost last night, which kind of reignited my whole thing. So yeah, I definitely want to go to that panel. There's a Lost panel this year too, which I'm super pumped on at 1 p.m. on Friday.
Real quick, we were watching the reboot. There's no reboot of Lost yet till they let us write it. We were watching the pilot of Lost, and there's the part where Jack is explaining at the beginning to Kate about like the time he was doing spinal surgery and like how he overcame his fear. And she looks at him and goes, "Oh my God, I feel like if that was me, I would have just run away." And he's like, "No, you wouldn't have." But I was like, "Fuck yeah, she would have."
She's a runner.
That's all she ever does is run away.
Except for when she's on the island, because that's when everybody re-examines their life.
I know, but that's so funny because it's like John Locke is cured of his disability. Kate doesn't run anymore. She embraces things.
That's the magic of the island. So,
and I feel like the island was a little bit more magical for certain people.
Yeah. Also, I've been asking for
for sure.
We went to Lost. There was a Lost panel the first couple of years that we went to because this is now my 10th Dragon Con, and I remember those were like pretty like lightly attended. So I'm looking forward to a Lost panel with actual guests this year. So I think
did you? I don't know if you guys saw, but Man in Black canceled.
Oh fuck!
Did he really?
Yeah.
Fuck.
I was looking at it last night. His name was on the cancel list.
Well, that saves me $50.
Shit.
I was a Jacob fan anyway, right, Jacob?
Right.
No.
I do like the Man in Black. We've wanted Lost people at DragonCon for a long time because it's usually just the fan discussion panel. And it's like, I can do that on the podcast. Like, I want to see the actors talk about it. Yeah. I don't want some guy I've never, like, also, and like, we're going to do a Jurassic Park panel. Like, that's people who aren't as familiar with DragonCon because it's very fan-centric.
Right.
People are like, "Oh, cool, you're on the Jurassic Park panel. Who else is on it?" And I'm like, Jake, Abby.
Like, local people.
Yeah.
Right?
What do they want me to say? Like, Sam Neill, Steven Spielberg, Michael Crichton, which is cool.
Well, that's what we'll tell people. Michael Crichton. That's what we'll tell people. We'll get them to come.
Yeah, Laura Dern canceled.
Laura Dern and Michael Crichton.
Chase Ambrose.
And us.
So, Abby, back to... So, I figure a lot of the people that listen to YHS, maybe they go to conventions, maybe they've done costumes, maybe they don't. What goes into your decision-making process of what costume you want to do? Because it is kind of a big deal, especially for DragonCon. This is not like, hey, I'm going to go to Party City and buy a fucking Coneheads hat.
No.
That's not even a real thing. I just made that up.
No, I know. No, I was writing about this.
I wish that existed, but...
Yeah, you don't want to be the CVS employee that's just like throwing the hat on to join in or whatever.
Because there's a CVS at DragonCon?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like you want to make the most of it because it can be like an awesome experience to invest time in a costume. But yeah, for me, I think that going into this year, I wanted to have... I like having a big weapon. And the Padme costume has that. It's like, it's got a look to it that I'm just into. It's very like late 90s sci-fi. It's kind of like campy and like over the top, but like also strong and empowering. And I like the look of it. And I kind of like that it's from one of the worst Star Wars movies because I don't know, there's something about that makes it more like, I don't know, unique and fun. It's like when I did the Rose
costume.
Huh? Hey,
I like The Last Jedi.
I'm gonna do Rose now.
This is one thing I realized. I like The Last Jedi, but I also love talking shit.
Yeah,
so
I want to go to that.
Talk shit about stuff I like, just because I like being cynical.
Yeah, it's most fun when you talk shit about the things you like. Yeah. So yeah, I'm doing that, and I'm doing Zoya the Destroyer because I loved the show Glow. I was very obsessed with it. So recreating the costume for a character that I found inspirational and like am still obsessed with. Alison Brie is like a really cool human being, and I follow her on Instagram. So I'm just excited to do the look, and I'm doing it with two female friends, Catherine and Julia, who are friends of the podcast, who are coming in. So it's going to be all girls wrestling. Craig, you're going to be a ref. It's going to be neat.
It's going to be a bunch of girls wrestling.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a referee. I've always wanted to be a referee because I like judging people. I'm excited. Well, before I move, because we'll go to me next because my stuff is also specifically Dragon Con related. But
I'm also stressed because I want to get a fake chair to carry around.
I want to hit somebody with a chair. Like, Jake, you've watched wrestling a long time.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, don't you want to get hit with one of those chairs just once? Just to feel
Let's
what it
do it. We'll I'm sure we can find a chair and we'll hit each other.
Just use a real chair.
Well,
He's
here's the
getting
thing.
real fights.
Well, thank you for that stress.
You're
Anything
welcome.
else before we?
I mean,
I'm
there's
kind of
there's a
piggybacking
live
your
karaoke band, which I know you'll probably mention. That's like a metal band, which is like going to change everything.
You don't know
this
the
year.
half of it. Okay, here's all my Dragon Con stress. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
One, Thursday. I've always had this dream. I like karaoke. I'm a fan of singing karaoke, but I don't do it very often because most of the time karaoke sucks. The place it's at sucks. The sound system sucks. Also, I stayed home most of the time and very rarely do karaoke bars set up at my house.
Come to you.
So, yeah, they don't normally come to you. But I do like karaoke. And I've always had this dream of, like, having an epic and amazing, like,
taking the house down.
crowd-pleasing karaoke performance at Dragon Con. And this year...
That's pretty specific.
It is pretty specific. I want people to leave Dragon Con and go, that was a great weekend, but that one guy, whoa, stole the show.
Man, when he was singing Queen.
Was that Freddie Mercury?
Fuck it.
Was that him?
Was it?
No, so Thursday night at Dragon Con, because Thursday's like an official night now, in the big Marriott Ballroom, this band, I can't even think of their name. Abby, if you can look it up.
Meddlesome, that's
what they're called.
Yeah, Meddlesome.
They're a karaoke metal band. They play in Atlanta all the time. I think they have a regular show at one of the bars. But what they do, I mean, it's karaoke, but you're not singing to a backing track. You get a full band behind you, and they're very talented. Like, I wouldn't watch your videos on YouTube.
Are they limited in like what they know? Like that
they've got a song
They just know a ton of shit.
They've got a song list that's it looks like it's about 100 to 150 songs.
Okay.
And it's mostly like rock songs, classic rock and that kind of stuff. But what I'm saying is, I think this is my chance.
Yeah.
I picture it in my head like
this Thursday night?
This is Thursday night.
I'll
be wearing my Hooper costume. And I just feel like it's the kind of thing, like, when I'm done, like, there's going to be a guy in a suit who walks up to me with his business card. He's like, I want to be in the Craig Goldberg
Is
business.
this all based on the one time that you brought the house down on a bachelor party?
I did bring the house down once. I sang
good.
Guns N' Roses at a bachelor party.
Okay.
Wow.
And everybody was ripped drunk, and this one girl was like, oh my God, you should totally be a real singer. And,
Party rubble.
The worst was I saw the video of it afterwards, and no matter what you do in life, once you watch the video, it's never quite like your memory.
Yes, I do know exactly what you're talking about.
So I was like, dude, I gotta see that video. Because in my mind, I was like, there was like 500 people, the crowd was going nuts. And it's probably like 20 people kind of scattered.
Yeah.
Mostly not paying attention.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I want to do Dragon Con karaoke. I'm very excited about that. I'm very excited. Wrestling is also happening Thursday night. Ric Flair, Sting, Lita. I have a weird relationship with wrestling. If I really had to analyze what the one constant fandom was in my entire life, from like a young age, besides Ghostbusters, and maybe even I could argue more than Ghostbusters at certain points, because like I wasn't really that into Ghostbusters from like age 10 to 20. Like I liked it, but I wasn't like obsessed. But I was fucking obsessed with wrestling from like age 7 to 24. And I still follow it very closely. So I'm very excited about Ric Flair and Sting being there. Two of my favorites growing up. I want to get something signed. I want to get a photo op. I would love to get a belt signed. I'm not going to be investing $300 into an authentic belt.
Craig, I think you should, because I'm pretty sure since I've known you, you have been saying, I want to get a belt signed.
Yeah, I know.
Just get a belt, man. And think of all the autographs you'd have on it by now.
God. Sting, Ric Flair, Lita.
Yeah. Ooh.
Just those three.
That's pretty much it right now.
I would not get Lita to sign it, but I'd get a women's championship.
Yeah.
So there.
Okay.
Lita's one of the greatest female performers
She
of all
was
time.
in the Royal Rumble recently. That was...
Yeah, the women's Royal Rumble.
She did really well,
She did great. Abby, at DragCon, you need to tell her that.
I'm like, hey, you did well. I liked your pants. I liked the mesh. You brought it back. Hair was looking good. I like her. She's cool. I would like to hang out with her.
So I'm excited about that. And anybody who listens to YHS knows that like my number one stress going into conventions is who am I going to get signed? Like what am I going to get signed? Who am I going to meet? What photo ops am I going to do?
Who are you going to sign?
Who am I? Yeah, like, and I barely ever get anything because I get there and I start rationalizing like, well, no, I'll pass this time or I'll pass this time. So, not going to pass on Ric Flair this time.
Yeah.
Because he's older and he's had some health issues and I want to meet Ric Flair. I want to shake his hand.
Yeah.
And he usually sells wrestling boots that he signs. And how cool would that be to have a pair of wrestling boots signed by arguably the greatest wrestling champion of all time?
Very cool. Very, very cool.
Sting.
I want to get a photo.
Yeah,
Lita.
So yeah. And so I'm excited about that. Here's one thing that stressed me out. Abby was talking about the Lost stuff earlier. The Lost panel is the same time as the Ghostbusters panel, Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I am probably going to go to the Lost panel.
I think we're going to do the Lost. I'm doing the Lost panel.
Listen, there is nothing that's going to be said at that Ghostbusters panel that I haven't said myself, thought myself.
Well, the game is really the spiritual sequel to the... I'm trying to think of one of the classics.
So this is actually kind of funny. It's kind of a themed panel this year. They're doing kind of a game. It's called Could They Bust It? Where people make suggestions of other pop culture figures and the panelists have to decide whether or not the Ghostbusters could take them on. Could the Ghostbusters trap Superman?
Okay.
Wait, now I want to go.
I was like, well...
So, I mean, I'm just off the top of your guys' head, not to put you on the spot, but I'm going to. Is there anybody that you feel like the Ghostbusters would have trouble taking on?
I mean, does it have to be a spectral entity or can it be a non-spectral entity?
No, yeah, it could
like
be anything.
Godzilla, something large.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, that'd be strange.
Mm-hmm. That would be pretty strange, huh?
The first thing that popped in my head was Freddy Krueger. Like that seems like it'd be fun.
Yeah. Ghostbusters vs. Freddy. Supernatural element.
Mm-hmm.
He's hanging out with Sandman from Real Ghostbusters. They're teaming up.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like any horror icon. Like, I want to see Ghostbusters versus Chucky.
I was about to say that because he's a little asshole.
He's such
I
an
want to see
asshole.
Peter Venkman and Chucky face off.
Peter and Chucky would get along.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this kid. I like his style.
He would keep going, Chucky a kid.
Yeah. Fucking kid. I'm gonna cut your fucking head off. No, I'm just thinking,
you poor man.
He's like picking him up and like trying to tickle his belly. Like,
yes. Oh, I like that. I like
Slimer's
that.
involved. So yeah, I think Chucky would be interesting. Trekkie. There's no Trekkie that would be a problem for the Ghostbusters. Let's face it.
Why am I laughing? I'm like, yes, Star Trek.
Leonard Nimoy.
Oof.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't nice.
No, it's good. He's good.
He's good. What? He's
Moving
dead.
on.
He's a ghost. That's why I said it. Let's analyze it.
We got it.
Leonard Nimoy is now
Got
a
it.
ghost. Can the Ghostbusters take him on? Beam me up, Scotty. I don't know. So who else? Anybody else?
No,
Luke
I
Skywalker?
don't know. I'd have to think about it.
Well, yeah. What about like a Jedi ghost? We talked about that before. Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Like if it was Yoda or something like that.
Yoda's just fucking with him.
Yeah, I feel like Yoda would be in the same like ballpark as Chucky with like the antics and evading them.
What if it was like very easy? Like what if like all they got to do is rope them, with the beams and then fucking trap them and it's done.
Yeah. True. I guess it's what happens inside the trap. That's where the fun begins.
Mm-hmm.
When Chucky and Yoda meet up.
Yeah.
When Chucky's like, who the fuck is this guy? And Yoda's just fucking with him. I got nothing.
I want to see Yoda on Chucky's
fan
back.
film. We need to that's the kind of mashup.
Wait, that is
Chucky
the show we need to
and
write.
Yoda.
It's what happens inside the ghost trap with all the ghosts interacting with each other.
Yeah, once they go in the containment
That's the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
They have to go. It's like
Inside the trap.
It should be like the show The Office.
Yeah, it's what I'm saying.
But like
yeah.
The Office is just inside the ghost trap. They
Yes.
all are forced to like live and work together.
Yes,
In
I
that.
love
inside
that.
the trap. Yes.
Yeah, Chucky's like Pam.
Yes.
He's a receptionist.
Yeah. No, Chucky's like Jim, and the bride of Chucky is like Pam.
Okay, Tiffany.
Tiffany is like Pam.
Cool.
Who would Michael Scott be?
Oh boy.
Really got to think of that one.
Leonard Nimoy.
Freddy Krueger. Oh, okay.
Freddy
Krueger would be a good one.
Okay, so here we go. Just so I can get this right, just for pop.
Jason is Dwight. Okay.
Okay, we've got Freddy Krueger, Leonard Nimoy, Yoda, Chucky, Tiffany, and Jason, all operating an office
Trapped in a trap.
trapped in a ghost trap. Hey, how has this not been made already?
It's a cartoon.
These fan films
Yeah,
gotta pick up
be
the
great.
fucking.
Yeah.
They write themselves.
Now I want to be on this panel.
Whew.
Now you've gone to like I'm skipping this panel
Hey.
to like wait. I'm very excited.
For anybody who's listened to this episode, they're like, I can't come up with any ideas on the spot. So someone's like, all right, they're like, all right, so let's go to the crowd. Like, who's somebody that the Ghostbusters may or may not be able to take on? And someone's like, Batman. I'm like, did I hear Chucky and Yoda?
We're just gonna go with our scripted material.
Yeah. Like the Harlem Globetrotters. Did they say Leonard Nimoy? Got it.
Cool.
So yeah, I'm excited for Dragon Con. I'm having a little bit of costume stress too because I had all these big plans. I was going to do Jedi robes and this and that, and can I just talk about this?
Yeah, because are they
Do it.
really?
Yeah, it sounds like you need to.
Yeah, do
All
it.
right, so Abby is doing a Padme costume. Jake,
The arena costume.
the arena battle
yeah.
costume.
Weathered, yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to take it over?
Yeah. It's
Is it weathered?
Weathered arena costume.
Is it a weathered arena costume?
Yes, that's
Okay.
exact.
How do you get to group therapy?
Okay.
Okay.
Continue.
Jake, you're going to have your X-Wing pilot stuff.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden I'm sitting there going, wait a minute. My co-people are going to have Star Wars costumes and I'm not. I'm going to feel very left out. So what happened was I started looking up cheap Jedi costumes that I could obtain quickly and for not a lot of money. And I had found one that I kind of liked, but Abby finally was like, hey, that looks terrible. No. It was like basically...
I asked him what it was because I thought it was like a Renaissance costume.
God, I don't want to see it. I need to see this.
It's just like a generic black... It looks more like...
I was like, what character is that?
It looks less like Obi-Wan Kenobi and more like Obi-Wan Shinobi. Like it's very like... It looks like Abby said, like Renaissance kind of like... Just not great. So I'm not doing that. But I now don't have a Star Wars costume to go with you guys. So Abby was like, hey, I was at the costume shop the other day and they have a Watto mask. And I was like, oh.
Oh, boy.
It's good, too. It's like
what I was thinking of is if I get this Watto mask, I'm not going to wear a whole Watto costume. I'm not going to have leather vest and wings.
But you should.
That's what I normally wear on the weekends. So I'm not gonna do that at DragCon. But I was like, what if I got like a custom T-shirt that was Watto themed? What would it say?
So you're gonna be like casual Watto.
Casual Watto. Like the first T-shirt idea that I had for Watto, it said, I was like, what if it had a Watto mask and it just said, ask me about my slaves? And I was like, nope.
Dude, the first thing that popped in my head, I was like, oh, this is funny, but it's probably highly offensive.
Yeah. Like I can't do that. Maybe like my other car is a pod racer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You could just say any.
Welcome to my grotto. Has anybody seen that Skywalker boy?
Wow. You put too much thought into these.
Yeah. Guess what? I'm not doing any of that.
They're not good.
I might not have a Watto. Yeah, they're not. So if anybody can come up with a better custom Watto phrase for me, I'll be over on a ledge contemplating every decision I've ever made, and Jake's gonna be like, "Do it, do it." So, anyways, I'm very excited about Dragon Con. Definitely having some costume stress. Definitely having some guest stress. Not having room stress. A lot of people are still scrambling to find the room, so I'm excited about that. And more than anything, I'm excited about PKE Surge. We haven't really talked about it. Jake, before we get to your stress, I want to tell you something.
Yeah. Okay.
I am staring at like 6 boxes of just Ghostbusters stuff right now.
Boxes of boxes.
Yeah, it happens every year, and it's always like it's exciting.
We obviously we all take part in doing PKE Surge, which is the annual gathering of the Ghostbusters. This is the 10th year, and we have awesome partners. Like, so we are able to partner up with Funko, Diamond Select, Playmobil, IDW. And a lot of that's facilitated through Ghost Corps. They're fucking awesome. They help us out so much. Eric Reich at Ghost Corps, like, he's just there for the fans. Like he goes out of his way to like
be accessible
and make things happen. So thank you to all of those partners who are helping us. And all this is just shit we give away. Like, we do prizes and raffles and awards.
Yeah. Like, if you go and eat pizza with us, you're going to get, like,
you're gonna
3
get
or 4
something.
things. Yeah, exactly.
You're at least going to get pizza.
You're getting pizza.
We're not paying for it, but you're going to get some.
Somebody is.
Someone's going to pay for it. And maybe Ron Daniels. Master of Ceremonies, Ron Daniels. So, yeah, we got all this Ghostbuster stuff. So, yeah, if you're going to be in Atlanta, if you're going to be at a Dragon Con, we'll post the schedule on the Yes Have Some page, but join the PKE Surge group. It's a Facebook group. And you can get all the details on what's going on, when and where at Dragon Con. And we're going to keep the Dragon Con theme going for the next couple weeks. I'm very excited. This my favorite thing I do every year is go to Dragon Con.
Yeah.
And I'm buying some shit this year.
Fuck yeah.
I hope so.
Like, Jake, we're going to those vendor rooms and we're buying shit.
I mean, I know I am.
I am. I didn't buy anything last year.
Don't have to tell me.
Yeah, I'm making.
What do you buy?
Happen.
What's your dream purchase?
I want some jewelry this year. I don't even care. Yeah, I always notice like
some elven jewelry.
Yes, no, but kind of.
Maybe
like,
a leather pouch.
I like that. I need to replace my wedding band, so I'm going to be looking for some cool stuff.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. Jake, before I get to your stress, what are you buying this year?
Dude, I don't know. Maybe some more prints or something. I don't know. Like last year, they snuck up on me and I found a bunch of prints and like lobby cards and just like cool stuff like that. Maybe some more of that stuff. Like there's one vendor that is there every year, and he used to have a bunch of Godzilla figures, and I used to always buy from him. He hasn't had any of the Godzilla stuff the last few years, but he is also the guy who's got all the cool prints and the lobby cards, and like sometimes he has like last year I bought a signed poster for the movie Q, which is some old monster movie, but it's cool that stuff is popping up. So hopefully that guy's getting some more of my money this year.
Yeah, I know that guy. I don't know him, but I recall his booth.
Like,
I wish I knew him. Huh. No, I just remember leafing through those things.
Well, we will have no shortage of things to talk about over the next couple weeks when it comes to Dragon Con. So stay tuned for more. Jacob Walsh.
Well, first of all, like before I get on to the main part of it, like Dragon Con is always a stress, and especially the costume thing. And I do the same thing you guys do, where like I think I'm gonna do a bunch of costumes, and I ended up like coming down to it, have nothing new basically. I knew I was going to be doing Quint, and you guys kind of surprised me with doing Hooper and Brody, and I think that's going to be very fun.
Surprise!
Yeah.
Surprise! We like
podcast
one day, Craig, you were like, "Hey, I'm doing Hooper," and I was like, "All right, let's do it." And then all of a sudden, Abby was like, "Oh, I'm not being left out. I'm doing Brody."
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be very fun.
What if there was like a mysterious fourth member of the podcast we've never met before that just showed up completely in the screen accurate mayor gear?
That'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Let's get a whole group going. We need a shark.
We do.
But as far as costumes, I think I have that Ghostbusters. Like you said, I'm doing the X-Wing, and that's it. Nothing else. Like that's it. The X-Wing's not even my because
stolen X-Wing costume.
I started like I bought the Anovos. I already had the helmet. I bought the Anovos X-Wing jumpsuit, but then I stopped there and I didn't like the rest of the costume. I'm having to borrow, but it's fine.
I'm excited for it.
Dude,
it's gonna be good, dude. But as far as like my main stress is kind of like just this month. This month is so like every year before Dragon Con, I have a work convention, like a tattoo convention that we go to. We go every year. It is literally the week before Dragon Con. Like I'm leaving for the tattoo convention Thursday morning. I will be down there until Monday. I'll get back on Monday. I'll go to work on Tuesday. I'll go to work on Wednesday, and then Wednesday night, I'll drive to your house for Dragon Con in the morning.
Yeah.
And it's like 2 solid weeks basically. But on top of that, I also just went to Canada.
Is that where you were last week? I couldn't find
Where
you.
was that last week? Yeah, so like basically this entire month is like trips.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, damn, dude. It's fun, but it's stressful.
Great. It's great. I love it. Like it's fun to not like I went back to work. Today was my first day back at work in like, I don't know, like a little over a week. And I was instantly like, all right, can we go to the convention now? Like I was instantly ready.
Vacay mode.
On the net. Like I'm done with this. I want to go on the next trip. I want to get like, it's so funny because like everyone, you guys and everyone else that we're friends with are also like Dragon Con is like this big thing. It's like everyone's ready to go, and Dragon Con has barely even been in my head because I was super excited about this Canada trip. I went with my friend Becky. We went up. So I flew into Detroit. Never been to Detroit before. And then we drove straight into Canada, and basically we were going to hit all the IT filming locations, which are all like in a couple towns a few hours away from each other. So our first stop was the Kissing Bridge, the bridge that like Bill or Ben gets carved up and kicked over. We saw the bridge, we saw the quarry where they go swimming. The next day we drove into like Toronto and saw a few locations there. We got to see Bill's house, Eddie's house, the famous storm drain where Georgie meets Pennywise. We got to see that. And then drove like another hour out of the way to where they are building the Niebolt Street house.
Yeah.
It's being built right now for filming on the second movie. We were hoping it was going to be completed. They told us it will be in about a week. So
just go back.
About done now. Yeah. They're like, you could just come back in a week. It'll be ready.
Cool.
We got to see them working on it. The workers were really nice, and they were like, hey, you can come around this way. The roads are all blocked off, and they're like, but if you walk over here, it's fine. They don't care if you take pictures. It was cool. So from there we drove into Port Hope, which Port Hope that's Derry. Like everything else in the movie is in Port Hope. Mm-hmm. And it looks like we're driving into Port Hope and it's Derry. It looks exactly like it. Main Street, it's set up exactly like it is in the movie. You drive right over the bridge, and then you're right in like Main Street. And then Main Street has the Capitol Theater is there. Yeah. There are a few buildings, like Keen's Pharmacy was set up, and it said Keen's Pharmacy on it.
That's fucking sweet.
There's an alleyway. You just drive right into this alleyway, and
Henry Bowers beats you up. Just kidding.
Exactly. You meet Henry Bowers. It's the alleyway where the meat, the meat place.
Yeah, meat packing thing or whatever. Yeah,
that's there, and then the mural is all set up right beside it.
Sweet.
Right. The next building over is Beverly's apartment and the little stoop that she sits on. Mm. I mean, it's all there. It's all in the town. Like it's over, is the park that has the big stage when they're having their speech about, you know, what they're seeing, where the Paul Bunyan, like it's all fucking right there. And it's like, it's super weird. Like, me and Becky were talking, it feels a lot like, it's very different, but it feels a lot like when you go to Martha's Vineyard and all the Jaws locations look exactly the same, even though that movie, you know, was 40 years ago. And this movie is being made right now. It's like, this is the town. People live here, and it's like being in the movie.
Yeah.
What was the vibe in the town? I mean, do you get the sense that people are like, so they filmed the first one there, and they're about to ramp up filming on the new one. Are people into it? Is it good for the town, or are people?
Some people. So the town, it's such a super small town, and the reactions were kind of varied. Like, we're both wearing like dairy T-shirts, like. But
like, oh, good. More of these.
Some more fans, huh?
Well, we walked into, like, right by the Capitol Theater, there's almost like a welcome center for the town, and there's like maps, and they show you where everything's at. And they have like a map that's solely like the filming locations map, and they're like, yeah, if you walk over here, like they you know, they'll tell you where stuff is. They were cool about it. But then we also went into one place and was talking to like the store owner, and he seemed to have no idea what we were talking about, and I was like, what
that clown?
He had no clue. He was like, yeah, they filmed the movie here or something, but I don't know what it was. And we're like, how do you not know what it was? It was weird. So it was stuff like that. But we did meet up with somebody who lives in that town who's a big It fan. He has a It Instagram page. It's called Discover Dairy Maine, and all he does is post pictures of the town, basically, and some filming stuff. But he helped us out with finding some locations. But we were talking to him, and he was like, yeah, this building right over here, it's like an old tire factory or something. He's like, the production has rented it out, and that's where they're keeping the signage, the props, wardrobe is in there, and that's also where the actors are staying when they're filming in town.
Again, that's also where I'm going to break in later.
Yeah, so we immediately walked over there, and there's one person in the parking lot just kind of guarding. He's just standing by his car. And we watched, and he was there for hours, just standing, like that was his job. He was just standing there. But we get there, we're like looking through the windows, and it was a lot of like set decoration, nothing like fancy. There was a lot of furniture that had tape on it that said Secondhand Rose, and Secondhand Rose is
secondhand clothes. Yeah, it's the store.
Yeah, it's the store where Bill finds silver.
Silver, yeah.
Yeah, so that was all, I guess, basically just the props or the set decoration. We did see some wardrobe, but you can't tell what's on bags. But in the parking lot, there was just a big assortment of like wood on the ground. It looked like scraps. It looked like junk, but we started looking at it more, and we noticed that there are orange cones all around it. And I'm looking at it, and then we started kind of walking through it, and the guy was like, hey, you can look at that, but don't go beyond those cones. And then we were like, oh, this is something. This is not just garbage.
This is something.
Yeah.
But the more we look at it, we realize like it's knee bolt. It's knee bolt taken apart. Like they're building knee bolt in a town an hour over, but they're having to drive over here and pick up the pieces. And the pieces are all like numbered. You know that big weird looking tree that's out in front of knee bolt? Mm-hmm. It was sitting there just in pieces. So that was cool. Like that was cool to be able to see all that stuff, all the filming locations, just to see pieces of the Nebo house just sitting there. Like it was a very fun trip.
Dude, that's incredible. That's really awesome. Now, Jake, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I always do, so I'm just going to do it. You know, when we first started hanging out with Jake, we're all gift givers. We like giving gifts. We like sharing stuff. Anytime Jake comes over, I'm like, here's a bunch of shit. And when I go to his place, he's like, here's a bunch of shit. One of the first things Jake ever gave us was pieces of the actual Evil Dead cabin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I was like, hey, where'd you get these? And you're like, Fucking took them.
Yeah.
I went to the cabinet and I took them.
Yeah. Which is one of the reasons why.
So we have
like
a piece of the stone and the just actual pieces of the actual Evil Dead cabin.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, did you take some of that knee ball?
I did not. I mean, obviously, I would love to own a piece to that. It would be kind of an asshole thing to break a piece off when they're still filming. Even though the way. Oh yeah,
let me clarify that. This wasn't it wasn't 1982. Jake's not hanging on the set of Evil Dead like I'm about to break off.
Yeah. Right. This was right.
It's all destroyed and shit now. Even though I think if you did just kind of snap a piece off, they wouldn't even be able to tell. It's so the house is so fucked up and there's all these pieces of twigs and sticks off of it anyway. But no, I didn't take anything. Even if I wanted to, it was being guarded. It was it was being watched. I'm pretty sure 24 hours a day because when we left that town kind of late that night, and that guy was still there. That guy, that's his job. His job is to sit there. And then we pulled back into the town in the morning just to kind of give everything one last look before we headed out. And there were people working there. There were people moving. So we pulled back in and there were multiple people. The doors were open. We could see in further. They were all giving us strange looks. But that place is guarded 24 hours a day. So you can go and you can look at stuff. But as far as taking anything, no, that's not going to happen.
I mean, we're in Atlanta and there's movie sets and TV shows filming all the time. Stranger Things season 3 was filming about a mile from our house a couple weeks ago, and I drove over there, and you can't even really get near.
You can't get near enough to take anything.
You can't take shit. I was gonna take some of those kids. I was like, hey, we need to get those kids on the podcast. I'm just gonna take them. It's not kidnapping if all you do is make them do an interview.
No, I mean,
hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're here with Millie Bobby Brown and Finn Wolfhard, stars of Stranger Things. How are you guys today? And then you hear me say you're fine.
We want to go home.
I'm hungry.
You want to go where? Cut the music. Hey, guys.
You don't talk about the season you're filming, then you're not going to.
Are we talking about kidnapping right now? Is that what we're doing?
No, those kids are very wealthy celebrities.
They're doing
therefore
well.
They are adults, and therefore when we get them on the show. Hey, by the way, if those guys are ever on the show, it's going to be willing. I never want to have
Will.
Yeah, we have a Will. I never want to have Finn Wolfhard on Yes Have Some Podcast and have half the audience be like, wait a minute, did they kidnap him? Is this okay?
Yeah.
They joked about this. Now all of a sudden he's on the show.
No. Well, that's cool, man. That's an awesome trip.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, it was good, man. It was great. We spent a few days in Canada. By the way, Canadian money is cool. I like it. It's weird. It's plastic. It looks cooler than our money. It's called their coins are called loonies or something. I don't know. I like it.
Hey, well,
Canada's got
tell
some
us
cool
what's
stuff
going on. Hey, actually, we have plenty of Canadian listeners.
We do, yeah.
Ryan Dole, Matt Provençal.
Mm-hmm. Send us some money.
Send us some ladies. Yeah,
send us some of your money.
Yeah.
We like your money.
Canada was cool. I liked it. This is my first time in Canada. It was my first time out of the country, so it was very exciting. It was fun to go to the border and have them ask questions. It's kind of, you see that kind of thing in movies all the time. And
Jake, you told me a funny story about the difference between the Canadian security guard and the American security guard at the border.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going through the border. The Canadian side, the guy is first of all, the guy looked exactly like Sean William Scott. It was probably him. But anyway, he was super, he was where are you guys going? He's like, how long are you going to be there? And we were like, we're going to Port Hope. And he was like, Port Hope? He was kind of joking around. And he was like, what's in Port Hope? And then we were like, oh, that's where they're filming it. And then he's like, oh, are they making a second one? He was like, it was just a normal, pleasant conversation. Mm-hmm. And he was like, cool, have fun. Go ahead. Coming back through, we get to the American side, and we give the guy our cards, and we're like, "Hey, how are you doing?" He doesn't say a word.
Oh,
He's got like the meanest like look on his face. He just like looks at our cards, types some stuff in a computer, doesn't say a single word, hands them back, and waves us through. I was like, well, I guess that's the difference.
This is America.
Yeah.
This is it, yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? But then we spent a few days in Detroit, and that it's also like there's also a lot of great stuff in Detroit. I ate a lot of food this weekend.
Yeah, dude.
Jake, I just had a funny thought.
I got to see where Faygo is made.
Ooh. Congratulations. Hey Jake,
it was cool.
What if when you guys cross back in, you're like, you know what, I didn't like the way that guy treated us. We're going back, and then you go back into Canada. Go through the whole process.
Why don't you acknowledge me?
You just put the car in reverse, so you don't even like.
You just reverse into Canada. Like, hey man, you got a problem? You got a problem?
Yeah, I came back.
I will reverse into another country right now. Don't make me reverse. The R, it stands for reverse, but it also stands for respect. You better respect me, sir. Sorry.
That's how it went.
It only stands for reverse.
Right.
So, yeah, Faygo, cool. ICP,
Yeah.
nice. We don't talk about ICP a lot on the podcast.
Not enough.
Well, yeah, there's reasons.
There's some reasons. Hey, full circle. They used to be wrestlers, and I loved when they were on WCW when I was a kid.
They
I thought it was
did.
the coolest thing.
They were. What was it? What did they call it?
I mean,
the
they
oddities.
were. Yeah, but they were
the oddities.
just.
Remember, they had that big group.
Yeah. So
they were awful.
They were the oddities in WWF, and they were like just. They were just Insane Clown Posse. Like they were themselves, but like
they were just themselves.
John Tenta, who was famously Earthquake originally, he was wearing a gold mask and a Cartman shirt. That was his gimmick. It was like, because like,
wow,
dude, WWF in 1998. You want to talk about a time when the three most popular things in America were professional wrestling, Limp Bizkit, and South Park.
Yeah.
And that's why that guy at the Detroit border was like, or the Canadian border is so mad because he wants to go back to those times. Like when people say "Make America Great Again," that's literally what they're talking
thinking
about.
of Woodstock.
They're
99.
thinking of Fred Durst. Like things were better back then. People were breaking stuff. There's a whole song about it.
It was better.
Just one of the guys.
Mm-hmm.
You guys ready?
Should we wait? Are we doing like a new metal episode? We should do a whole episode about Limp Bizkit.
Singing at
Listen, I think it's time for a new segment. We've had the fuck.
Yeah.
1, 2. Yeah.
Guys.
Yeah.
I loved West Borland.
I think it's time for a brand new segment. You guys don't have to go, but I'm going to go first. It's called YHS Confessions. And maybe we'll start doing this once a month where we confess things. Here's my confession.
Let's do it.
I listened on the way to work this morning to nothing but Limp Bizkit.
No, you didn't.
I swear to God.
I believe you.
We're talking rolling. We're talking hot dog, chocolate starfish, the hot dog flavored water. $3 bills, y'all. Break stuff. Nookie.
Man, all the hits. There was, I used to like some Limp Bizkit. There was some good stuff back
when that George Michael cover came out, I was like, damn, this is the shit.
This is good.
This is the future.
I remember listening to them on MTV talking about how they made that. They were like, yeah, we just heard the song in the car one day. We're like, this sucks. Let's redo it. I was like, they made it so much better. And I see your confession, Craig. My confession is that I wrote all the lyrics to Rollin' in my Algebra 1 book at my private school, freshman year of high school. I never got caught. I hope the book's still out there because those lyrics are life-changing.
Hey, there's some kid finding that book like, look at these ancient Chinese proverbs.
And then I wrote Blink-182 all over every other page.
Keep rolling. Come on. What could this mean?
Hey, ladies. Hey, fellas.
I don't think that sounded like a circus act.
Yeah, but doesn't he? I'd have to get the algebra book and find out, huh?
Not the lyrics.
Not the lyrics.
Find the book.
Find it.
What was the other big song off that album?
I hated my algebra
Anybody
teacher also.
Tell me?
My Way. My Way.
My Way of the Highway.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, again,
Classic.
You're either going Fred Durst's way or there's a highway out there.
That won't take you anywhere, though.
Yeah.
So get on it.
My rebuttal to that is, Mr. Fred Durst, life is a highway.
Oh, and I want to ride it all night long.
Limp Bizkit's fucking awful, but it's fun to go back and listen. Like, I think tomorrow I'll do Kid Rock.
Kid Rock Confessions?
Kid Rock Confessions.
Yeah, sure.
Have you guys ever seen
His Woodstock 99 performance?
Here's a word of advice. If you ever work in a real world job and you're showing, let's say, for instance, you work for a technology company and your job there is to educate people on the technology. And you've got new people that are being hired. Let's say that's all like a, what do you call it?
A job?
It's a job, but that's a hypothetical, very specific hypothetical. Let's just say that you like to show fun videos to lighten the mood and break up the day. Don't show Woodstock 99 videos.
You're going to be some titties.
There's not exactly. Quote of the century on YHS. Abigail Gardner, there's going to be some titties. That's what she just said.
I guess I have to stand behind it.
Yeah, I was like, guys, you got to watch Creed from Woodstock 99. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. Oh my God, boobs. Got to turn it off. Listen, that felt so good. Here's the other thing. I think my Spotify has like a public playlist, so anybody who knows me can go look and see the shit I was listening to this morning.
I don't need that. That's why I use YouTube.
If you guys have any confessions, you're more than welcome. But otherwise, we'll save it for another week. We'll save it for another week. Mm-hmm. It felt good to get that off my chest. Hey, if anybody,
I kind of want to listen to it now. I kind of want to go listen to Limp Bizkit now.
I just like that. Like, we heard this song, and it was totally shitty, so we made it so much better. Like, it's so funny.
It's like they're so tough.
Well, Jake, thanks for that stress, man. That was some good stuff.
Yeah, man.
That all seemed like positive stress.
It was all absolutely positive.
You know what? Before we wrap up, we haven't really talked about this too much in depth. How are we all feeling about Chapter 2 of It? It's filming now. It's going to be out next year. I'm looking forward to it. The cast is announced.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I like. I mean, there hasn't been a whole lot of. We don't know exactly what it's going to be like. I mean, we got the cast, and I'm fairly happy with the cast, and I also know they're doing the Adrian Mellon scene, which I'm completely happy with that. That's one of my favorite parts of the book, and I'm really glad that's getting put in.
Yeah, that means it's going to be like a very accurate, tough, grisly representation of the story. So yeah, I'm excited. I like the casting choices. I like all the images that have come out too. So, and I got really jealous listening to you talk about hanging out in Derry. So I'm happy for you, dude. I wish you'd gotten a piece of the Niebolt house, but you know, it's cool.
I mean, we can go back.
We'll go back. Yeah.
Okay. YHS takes on Port Hope.
And that security guard on the way back, we're going to give him a piece of our mind.
Port Hope sounds like the name of like an early 90s TV drama, like Twin Peaks or...
I don't want to
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Or like a teen drama, like Dawson's Creek.
On the next Port Hope, Caleb can't decide if Marjorie... I can't.
Hey, next week on Port Hope, I don't know what they're doing in this town. They're
killing people.
They got their film cameras out. Something about a damn clown. I'm just trying to operate my little hardware store here on the square. That's the guy who didn't know what was happening, Jake. That was my impression of him.
Exactly. Well, good job.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Better than better than Splinter.
Shredder? Oh, Splinter.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
She doesn't even know. She can't even tell which one.
I tried to forget.
Never forget. Well, listen, we've got a lot going on. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in this week. We covered a lot of ground. I feel very good. I'm really happy that Jake got to go to Canada.
Thank you.
Really happy that Jake's back from Canada because I missed him.
Yeah.
I did.
I miss podcasting. It's weird.
We didn't miss a week because we pre-recorded, but we I did miss it.
Yeah.
I miss you guys. When I'm not I'm like a baby. The second you're out of my sight, I don't even realize. I don't even know if you're real or not.
Completely forget about
I think you disappeared. Abby was like, "Oh, when did Jay come back from Canada?" I was like, "I don't know who that is, or Canada. I don't know what that is."
What is a Canada?
What is a Canada? Listen, if you want to check us out, we're on iTunes. You can download us on any of your podcast apps, but specifically iTunes. That's where you can leave the reviews. So, what we're going to ask of you, if you're a fan of YHS, please head over to iTunes. Leave us a quick review. We love those 5-star reviews. They help us a lot. They get us up in the charts, brings more listeners our way. The more listeners we have, the more fun we all have together, the more we can do, grow the Patreon, do more contests, and all. It's synergy. We're trying to do something. Also, challenge. I challenged Abby to this. I'm going to challenge Jake and all of our listeners. I want to come up with a name that perfectly describes the type of podcast we are. Because there isn't one. There's not a title for it.
Okay. That's my job now?
It's everybody's job.
That's Jake's job. Okay.
Jake, this is your job. We are a nostalgia-driven podcast. We talk about 80s movies. We talk about horror. We talk about big franchises. We talk about DC. We talk about Marvel. We talk about toys. I need the word that describes all of that. Because you can't just say, oh, Yes Have Some's a movie podcast, because we're so much more than that. You can't just say, oh, they talk about toys, because we do talk about toys, but we talk about a lot more than that. You could say we're a Ghostbusters.
So you want our audience to rebrand us?
No, we're not rebranding. I just want, when somebody goes, what kind of podcast do you have? I want to be able to go, oh, it's this.
Because when you say pop culture, people assume that it's like...
Yeah, we're not talking about goddamn Sugar Ray. Maybe we should be.
Ariana Grande.
Yeah. We're not, we're exactly.
Yeah, I don't, I said that, I was like, I hope I said that right.
We need to make up a word.
Yeah.
So that's everybody's challenge this week. That's the YHS challenge.
Fine. I'll do it.
Do it. But seriously, leave us those 5-star reviews. They help more than you know. And if you want to find us on social media, Instagram and Twitter at YHS Podcast, Facebook.com/YesHaveSomeCast. And also
our webpage.
Our website, where Abby just posted an article. You want to talk about that real quick?
It's just about Dragon Con. Yeah, I'm writing my 10 tips from 10 years of attending Dragon Con. I'm piecing it out one by one. So the first one's up.
One tip at a time. Which also just describes Dragon Con too. Oh, god damn it. Next week we got to do Dragon Con confessions. What's the weirdest thing you've seen in Dragon Con?
Jesus.
Okay.
Yeah, and why sometimes getting roommates at Dragon Con, their idea of roommates is a little bit different than your idea. That's a whole other story. For Abigail Gardner and Jacob Walsh, my name is Craig Goldberg, saying welcome to Dragon Con, welcome back from Canada, and
we did it all for the Nookie.
I can't say anything more. Bye, everyone.
Good night.
Later.